Hi there, welcome back to Mo's Garage. So you're asking yourself, what the heck, weren't we done with the whole upholstery? And I'm here to tell you the answer is no. So for just sheer bad luck and kind of doing the whole, investigation on the bottom part of the seat, Moss sent me an initial instructions of putting together that shows there's actually a left and right top side, and they'll also give you the correct instructions on how to install the cardboard on the back. So, and guess what? We had a 50-50 chance of getting it right, and we got it wrong. So we have the wrong cover on the wrong side, so the stripes don't match. It's plainly obvious when you kind of come in here and you kind of look at it. So anyway, so our they also kind of give you some decent instructions on what the heck to do with this stupid paper cardboard back, which, my wife and I struggled just trying to figure out how to get it to form and all the weirdness. So anyway, yeah, so now we are taking everything apart. The bad news is the fact that, we now have holes poked for the inclination adjustment. Luckily, we were able to do, I think it's going to be a halfway decent fix. So this is kind of hanging out right now. So you can kind of see it there, hopefully. So, okay, so here is kind of our fix real quick. You can kind of see it, so we'll see how it works out. So anyhow, so we're gonna go ahead and just one more time try this again and see if we can get the correct back with the correct covers. Like, holy cow. For the love of all that's holy, that's all I can tell you at this point in time. So anyhow, so we're going to go ahead and try this times two. The other thing we're going to try that we didn't do before is, quite frankly, one thing that we did notice is that without gluing this center section down, it gets really poofy. As you can see, with the driver's side temporarily installed, just super poofy here. And so it doesn't really give the seat a whole lot of definition. So anyway, so good news is, as you may have seen in the short I just posted, I was able to drive the car out of the garage, around the neighborhood and back in the garage. So, hey, small mercies, which means I can now take the temporary seat out of the driver's side and go ahead and fix that also. So, okay, great. So we will report back here once we're kind of done and see how it looks like. So we are now ready to look at reupholstering the seat. So first things first, what we ended up doing is, as far as the seat back, I think I may have mentioned that after getting the instructions from Moss, we realized that we really should screw the bottom end into this bottom rail here. As a matter of fact, the rail actually had, as you can see over there, it actually had some screw holes when we first got it. So that makes sense. And then we went ahead and used a bunch of clamps to clamp the cardboard backing to the frame. And then in the meantime, after it was all nice and clamped, we got the whole inside of the cardboard wet, and we kept it wet for a little bit, and eventually it dried up and it kind of is nice and self-forming. So here in the back, give me a sec. Here's the one for the other side of the seat. Here you can see the actual clamps on there. So yeah, so anyway, we ended up just clamping it, and turned out pretty decent. So now you can take the clamps off and it's self-formed, which is much better than the way they were before. Now, the other thing I've done is, strictly for the sake of consistency, I've actually marked kind of a little overlap here. And look on this side of the seat. This side does not have the same kind of overlap as this side. So anyway, so we're going to just go ahead and just do a very slight trim, just so it's kind of the same. And then we'll put it back together again. So we have put the foam back on the frame. And one interesting thing now that I'm noticing that we did not have going on before is, if you notice, the frame actually, the foam actually goes to the point where the cardboard sits inside of it, which obviously is a much better deal than the way it was before, where we just kind of had the cardboard floating. On top, not quite as much. I'm not sure what's going on there. So, but anyways, worth noting that it definitely looks a lot better than it did before. So the big question is, do we put some additional foam on the side? So I do have some that I got. I'm thinking about maybe doing it just to proof it up. This right here is actually, where the foam broke, and I used weather stripping glue to glue it all back together. So yeah, there's a good possibility I may decide to actually just put that strip of foam around it, just to make it a little bit more poofier, if that makes sense. Okay. Interesting enough, I finally found out what this little guy here was for after doing some more research on how to do these upper parts of the seat. These actually fit into here. So there's a pocket in here where these go into, so I had no idea. So this is kind of our continuum fix too of this thing. So we've put a little super glue on the outside to make sure it all stays put, and then we're gonna do a light sanding, and then we're gonna put some little leather conditioning and see how it looks like. Okay, so I've got the cover on. It was, man, talk about a bit of a hassle. I decided to try it without the foam. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and stay without the foam because it seems like it might be a little bit too much to try to get it all to go to. So there's still some stretching that needs to be done. But for the most part, it's fitting okay. For the most part. So my plan is I'm going to tilt this thing. So hold on one second. So as I said, the plan is going to be to tilt this thing, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically stick the contact cement spray and just spray the crap of it out in there and hope for the best. So there's a couple of interesting things going on. So this ridge here actually matches up very well with the ridge in the foam. This ridge over here does not. The ridge is actually down here somewhere. And so all I can think of, because I've been messing with it, trying to move up the kind of the seam over, but the seams seem to be pretty more or less equidistant, maybe a little bit of give. I'm just going to chalk it down to a variation between different manufacturers of the seat cushion. So yeah, so next step, I said I'm going to go ahead and spray the contact cement inside that little tunnel. There's absolutely no way, I don't think you could actually get it correct, trying to do it ahead of time. And so yeah, and then after that's done, we'll catch back up and see about maybe finishing this off. Okay, thanks. Okay, so I sprayed the crap out of this thing with the glue. So good news is we at least have some better definition now of the kind of the side. So that's kind of good. So we'll see what happens with some of these kind of interesting folds, but I think that's just part of the problem of they're being pleats. So yeah, anyway, so next step, let's get the clips in and maybe get this thing finished. And so we'll have at least one of the seats done. So good. Okay, so I have the back end put in over here. Looks better than it did before, still not 100%. So I'm not sure how to really resolve that at this point in time, but it definitely looks a lot better than it did before. Before there was a lot more kind of weird gaps and whatever. So anyway, so right now we're going to go ahead and just kind of put some contact cement here and kind of finish this up and see what the finished product looks like. So it's all set up with some glue. We're going to let it dry for a little bit, take the clamps off, and see what the end product looks like. Hopefully by the time all said and done, we will at least have one completed seat, which will be the passenger side seat. So good deal. So good news, this is the final product. Does not look bad. Hey, look at that. The lines in the seat actually line up. That is awesome. So it's got a couple wrinkles that were a little stubborn, but I don't know, maybe I should have put some additional foam in there. So like I talked about originally, but once it's in the car, most likely it'll just be like a standard seat, and leather seats after a while kind of get little wrinkles and crinkles in them anyway. So, but yeah, anyway, it actually looks better than the original version that I did. So everything fits better. And so, as I said, it's very nice that the pattern works. It all lines up. And now we have the right seat cover with the right cushion with the right side of the car. So, okay. So I am sure that you guys are pretty much sick of this, as I am sick of. So we will end this episode here. Hopefully you at least got something out of it. I know it has become a very educational experience for me. If you want to continue to see similar materials to this, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you liked it, give me a big thumbs up down below. Anyway, take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. If you like this video, hit subscribe and give us a big like down below. Thanks for watching.